this book, The Amputee's Guide to Sex. It is not an instruction manual. And this is the title poem. Number 1, removal of prosthetic. Wait for partner to exit room or initiate their exit by requesting a favor. For example, could you check the front door? I can't remember if I locked it. Wait for shadows to stand still, then quick, under the covers, remove the prosthetic, let it slip beneath the bed, under clothes, behind a door. 2, foreplay. To create an uninhibited environment for your partner, track their hands like game pieces on a board. For leg amputees, keep your arms on upper body. For arm amputees, keep your arms on their lower body. Engage with like limbs, keep half limbs out of reach. Your goal is to achieve a false harmony with their body. Number 3, sex. Mobility is key. If they see the half limb, then they become inhibited, nervous. They think, will it hurt like this? And would she tell me if it did? Mobility shows confidence. Think for 2 people. Know where your limbs are at all times. Know where your partner's limbs are at all times. And then I'll just read one more poem from this collection, which predicted the novel I would write, though I didn't know that at the time. This is called The Gift. For my birthday, we fly to Louisville, where Holman has a real live leg waiting. He made an appointment with the doctor who sewed a hand on someone else. The leg is in a blue cooler, like the ones we drag out back on the 4th of July, except bigger and with a lock. I give Holman the same nudge as when we're at a party and I want to go. Other women stay longer at parties, he has said. I sign waivers and give up the fake leg. I point to Holman's zipper and ask if they have a better one of these too. Less veiny, a little more girth. We fly home with our new parts. We tell everyone it was an accident in the Ford Escape and we should be normal in a few days. Now we can be happy. I always wanted to strip at the kitty cave on South Elm. Holman always wanted to drop his pants in front of several women with the lights on. We have affairs. We're in love. So The Colony is about a protagonist who grows her missing leg from stem cells directly onto her body while at a genetic engineering facility on Long Island with other patients who have the obesity gene or suicide gene, in other words, invented genes. But I want to read this one thing that was a poem first, because I kept thinking I was just writing a whole bunch of prose poems that happened to have the same characters before I figured out it was a novel. Dearly beloved Emily Smoke, cheerleader at Hickory High, on again, off again, best friend, how did she smell like that? I saw Emily Smoke with the roll-on bottle of essential oil, though she refused to tell me which oil was essential. Get your own, she said. I saw her roll it on her wrists, up her arms, down her shirt. Emily Smoke bought hers from the head shop where her boyfriend, a lanky guy named Beef Jones, bought his bongs. Emily Smoke was rumored to screw the gym teacher in his Mazda Miata before the bell for first period. That early in the morning. Emily Smoke is always raging for it, they said. What I wouldn't give to do Emily Smoke. I'm calling because I heard you were friends with Emily Smoke. I'd never cheat on you with that slut, Emily Smoke. Are you going to the party at Emily Smoke's? Okay, I might have cheated on you with that slut, Emily Smoke. She smelled like musk, vanilla, magnolia, cinnamon, and none of these. I'd tried a dozen oils and still never managed to smell like her. I like to think, she said, that one day Beef Jones will be walking his wife to the Victoria's Secret, getting something to spice up their defunct sex life, and he'll smell a woman who smells like me, and he'll think of me, and he'll remember with deep sorrow and regret how I used to afford him the pleasure of sitting on his face. So I thought I would just try out a few new poems. I have this recurring character called Big Logos in my second manuscript, which is a book called The Book of Good Love. It's after Juan Ruiz's book of the 14th century. He's such a riot. Does anyone know Juan Ruiz at all? No, he's like the Spanish Chaucer, and he's really wonderful. So this is a poem called Semi-Semi-Dash. The last time I saw Big Logos, he was walking to the quantum physics store to buy magnets. He told me his intentions. He was wearing a jumpsuit with frayed cuffs. I thought the cuffs got that way from him rubbing them against his lips, but he said they got that way with age. We had 2 more blocks to walk. "Once I do this, what are you going to do?" he asked. "I wish you wouldn't do it," I said. Big Logos bought the magnets, and a crane delivered them to his house. After he built the 900 megahertz superconductor, I couldn't go to his house anymore because I have all kinds of metal in my body. I think if you love someone, you shouldn't do that. Build something like that on purpose, right in front of them. I was debating whether to read this or not. I went to Sewanee this summer, and I studied with Richard Bausch, and I wrote a villanelle, but it's really Richard Bausch's villanelle. So this is the Dick Bausch villanelle. Your narrator better be interesting, or it's just words on a page and awful. Try to read while someone you love is dying. Don't worry, don't think about anything. If they offer you money, tell them you'll take it. Your narrator better be interesting. Fiction is not life. You're after feeling. There's no reason to be cryptic or faithful. Try to read while someone you love is dying. If you find out you're onto something else entirely, do that. And read J.K. Toole. Your narrator better be interesting. The condition of life is failure, endings. Hang in there, get it wrong, be careful. Try to read while someone you love is dying. Out with it, what on earth is happening? Give the details before you break the rule. Your narrator damn better be interesting. Try to read when someone you love is dying. And I just have 2 more, if that's okay. One is called Goodbyes, and one is called Encore. So I'm actually going to do Encore first. He climbed floor flights and arrived out of breath, leaned over the rail outside. I could hear him compose himself like a sheet of music, wrestling on the piano, a tune well suited for cranky audiences, allegro, coda, encore, and I taught him everything about letting it come, letting it go, letting it fold over and back again. The door opened to the kitchen. I owned a full set of spoons and knives, copper-bottomed pots and pans. I thought it would make me want to cook. I didn't realize the zing has to be there from the get-go. It doesn't just announce itself one Sunday with butter for a brulee and steamed milk. So I never cooked for him. Maybe that's why we broke, though every time the split felt false as fractured bone that some intern resets with tongs. He was always later than I expected, 27 years old, and never had a blowjob he liked. What were his women doing? I was sad for them then, thinking of the last brunette's head below his belt. Had she knelt? Had she not looked in his eyes? The first time it was a procedure, lying flat. He looked at the ceiling. I didn't break out any tricks. The shocker, the bedroom rocker, it was as simple as coloring in the lines, a little red here and some pink. I recalled my first go down with a man who had a girlfriend and kept pushing it at my mouth like a fork, open, open, until I did. And he told me I was the best, and he thought I had been around, and I didn't correct him. This one, with his hands at his sides, looked terrified, his teeth clenched, the collar of his button-down cinched at the neck. He removed nothing but his pants, and before the glory, he stopped because of a condition. I can't remember what he called it, a condition where he needed candy bars, and he needed to play with the red ribbon from my hair, and he needed to be a boy again wearing his pants. Of course, he got better. He was very good by the end, and I hope this poem finds his new brunette. What you have, I gave him that. Don't be sad. And then this poem is called Goodbyes. Thank you so much. You guys have been a wonderful audience. Thanks to Travis and Katie and Tom for having me here. Goodbyes start long before you hear them and gain speed and come out of the same place as other words. They should have their own place to come from, the elbow, for example, since elbows look funny and never weep. Why are you proud of me? I said goodbye to you 40 times. I see your point. That is an achievement unto itself. My mom wants me to write a goodbye poem. It should fit inside a card and use the phrase, "You are one powerful lady." There's nothing powerful about me, though you might think so from the way I spit. I don't want to say goodbye to you anymore. I heard the first wave was an accident. It happened in the Cave of the Hands in Santa Cruz. The 4 of them were drinking and smoking, and someone killed a wild boar, and someone else said, "Hey, look, I put my hand in it." Saying goodbye is like that. You put your hand in it, and then you take your hand back. Thank you.